What's up YouTube? I wanted to do a quick channel update for you guys. We are in the last day of 2015 and we're going to be heading into 2016 here in the very near future, obviously. And I wanted to do a quick channel update and kind of go over some stuff that I'm going to be looking at in 2016 as far as hikes go and as far as gear goes that I want to start kind of testing and using. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the gear. One of the first things that I wanted to show you guys, actually this is one of the presents that I got for Christmas. I got a bunch of REI gear and I went ahead and I ordered some stuff. So I wanted to show you guys, first. So the first thing on the list of gear that I'm going to be using this year. I went ahead and when I first started hiking, I actually used a set of Teva trail runners. They were Reforge Event trail running low top shoes that I absolutely loved. Little did I know that they were actually going to be no longer in production, so I was thinking to myself, like, oh, no big deal. I could always buy myself another set of trail runners. Come to find out that when I wore out my first pair, that they really weren't available. So ever since then, I've been using a set of actually Merrell Pulsate mids, which are great, don't get me wrong, but I've always longed for going back to that original trail running shoe style of hiking that I did when I first started hiking about 4 years ago. So this is my first delve back into trail running shoes, and I went ahead and decided to go with the La Sportiva Wildcats. And I went to REI, I gave these things a go, and this is basically what we're looking at. So this will be, not this weekend, starting a little bit later when things kind of warm up a little bit, I'm going to start using this shoe. But essentially this is going to be my shoe of choice for this hiking season. Yeah, I'm going to jump back into the trail running shoes. I'll tell you right now, man, when I went to REI and tried these guys on, these things fit so amazingly well. Like the other shoes, they felt fine, but I put these on and it was like putting on a sock. I mean, that's how like comfortable they were. I started walking around the store, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, these things are great. So what I did is, instead of actually buying them from the store, I went ahead and ordered them online because the pair that they gave me kind of looked like they took a couple tours around the store, if you know what I mean. So I went ahead and I ordered these online instead. And yeah, so hopefully these haven't taken as many tour around any stores as the ones that I saw originally. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the La Sportiva Wildcats for this year. So that's the first thing. This is another thing that I was wanting to try out. No big deal, just a beanie. My old beanie that I had was a North Face Bones beanie. Worked great, but man, I've literally had that thing for like 7-8 years. It's kind of beat, and wanted to try something new, so I'm trying the Chaos. What did I even order? Okay, so the Chaos Atom beanie. Whatever, typical black beanie, knit cap. Really only going to use it when I stop. What I'm really excited about is actually these guys right here. Darn tough. Okay, so I do a lot of taping of my feet. The reason that I do a lot of taping of my feet is not because I necessarily get blisters so much as the bottoms of my feet. After a long day of hiking, what I start to notice is the bottom of my feet start to burn a little bit. And what I ultimately figured out is because the socks that I was wearing, they were rubbing on the bottoms of my feet ever so slightly as the day wore on. And slowly but surely, as I was kind of making my way down from summits, I started to notice that every time I'd step, that sock would move ever so slightly and kind of create a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. And ever since then, what I've been doing is I've been actually taping my feet, and that's worked out really well. But I really want to get away from taping the bottoms of my feet. And I'm hoping that people speak so highly of these guys, and they say that the fit is absolutely spot on. We're gonna give these things a go, just see how they kind of work out, and see if I can kind of get away from taping my feet. If not, I'll continue on as usual. but this is something that I'm kind of excited to try and start using in 2016. So these are the Darn Tough. These are the mids. They're intended to go with the La Sportivas, so I don't know if I'm going to be using them on my first hike this Saturday, but they're definitely going to be in the mix, and I'll let you know how well these guys work out for me. I get a lot of really good ratings with it. This is something that I plan to be using during the summer. Again, the Talon 18, it is an incredibly generous 18 liters. Get rid of that thing. It's a generous 18 liters, and really what I've learned over the last 4 years, I used to have the Stratus series packs, and that was nice that it lifted it off your back, but what I also noticed with that was that, number one, they're too big. There's just too much space. Really, when it comes to hiking in Southern California, you really don't have to take that much with you, shockingly. And I was really looking for something that was kind of that mid in between pack, and this definitely fit the bill. So Talon 18 is something that I'm going to be using. It's not an overly big pack. It does not, suspend over my back, so sweating might be a bit of an issue. But I did use this at Baldy in 2015. If you watch one of the videos on Baldy, I'm actually using this guy. I was very impressed, and despite the fact that it was basically warm that day, this thing worked like a dream. It rode comfortably. It hugged my back. The sweating was not that bad. It actually aired out really quite nicely. So the 18 is what I'm going to be using once the weather starts to warm up. But that's something I'm going to be definitely letting you guys know about later this year. I've actually already got this guy packed out for Saturday's hike. I'm going to be using the Talon 33. This one is a little bit bigger. This is purposely intended to be the winter setup. Now, really, a lot of the bulk that I have in here is the jacket that I'm taking. Now, this is the infamous San Gorgonio jacket, the one that I ended up taking the Exos 38 because I wanted to take with me. That guy is in here, but that's pretty much the bulk of the pack is just that jacket. It takes up about that much down. Everything else from the from that point up is cook kit, food, pair of pants, and a couple extra shirts, because I do anticipate this weekend to be very, very cold where we're going to be going. 10 essentials, headlamp, gloves, stuff like that's up here. I'll probably end up going through this so that there's a video that shows kind of what the winter loadout is for me. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be using this Saturday, and hopefully on a few more winter hikes before the weather warms up, I'm going to give you guys a pretty good idea of how this works. But one of the things that I wanted to try this year was kind of do a pseudo ultralight backpacking shootout. And the two packs that I'm going to choose are actually the two packs that are quite popular with a lot of people. It's actually the Exos 58 and the ULA Circuit. So here is the 58 that I'm going to try to use sometime this year on a few backpacking trips and see how that kind of works out. I'm also hopefully going to do a couple videos with this guy where I'm going to show the different types of loadouts that one is going to do the 3-season and then the winter with this guy. And then, but yeah, this is a great pack, by the way, so far. I've done a few loadouts and stood around in my house and walked around my house, walked around outside, and it's been a phenomenal feeling. There are certainly some things I dislike about it, but there are many things that I like about this guy, and this really is a great pack, and I think that's going to show through the shootout when we go and do that. The other pack that we're going to have in the shootout is actually, this was actually my Christmas present this year, a ULA Circuit. There we go. So this is the latest model of ULA Circuit. I went ahead and got it in the original green. By the way, this Dyneema emerald green is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, the pictures online do not do it justice. But yeah, this is going to be the other pack that we're going to go through in the shootout. But there's definitely things that they're very different, and you have fans of both. And you go checking out the websites and what have you, you see that a lot of the fans really are quite excited about either or. One of the things that I so far have noticed with this one that I dislike, obviously, is no suspended back panel. that's going to be huge for me because you know, that's one thing that unfortunately I do a lot of, which is sweat. So right there, right off the bat, this guy already has a leg down per se on the shootout. But nonetheless, I'm excited about this because you know, I do want to support USA companies, and I'm excited about the ULA circuit in general because people speak so highly of it. And I'll tell you right now, putting it on, man, it feels comfortable. My only initial concern is the back panel, how that's gonna fare. And yeah, but we're gonna be hopefully doing an ultralight shootout, and that is pretty much as far as gear is concerned. Some of the things that I'm hoping to do in 2016 as far as hikes go, I'm gonna be doing with my buddy Squelch and another buddy of mine that you've seen in my videos. We call him Chosen One. But the three of us, we're going to try to do the 6-pack of peaks challenge this year. And one of the things that I wanted to do this year for sure was actually apply for permits for Mount Whitney. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, those are incredibly difficult permits to get. So I'm not thinking that, you know, I have some crazy idea in my head that this year for sure it's going to happen. Maybe we'll get the permits, maybe we won't. But I want to start applying for that because that's definitely something that I hope to do one day, is actually stand on the summit of Mount Whitney one day. Some other stuff that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be finishing hopefully San Gorgonio. God, that one's still, like, it haunts me in the middle of the night because I know I had my little reflections video, but you know, as time has progressed, I've been thinking about that hike and just kind of the things that went wrong in that hike, and how much more prepared I would be if I had that opportunity one more time. But I'm confident that, you know, that's going to be on the list, especially, you know, doing it through the 6-pack of peaks. That's one of the summits, so that, you know, if I do want to complete that challenge, that's something that I'm definitely going to have to do any which way, but I'm going to finish that guy for sure. One of the things too that I want to start doing, actually there's, let's see here, as I'm looking through my list on my computer here, we're going to finish the bear canister shootout. I have a couple more videos to shoot on the Lunar Solo LE, as far as the series, that's the fat guy in a little tent. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. I need to do at least 2 more videos of that one. There's also another tent that I'm hopefully going to be able to review for you guys, which is more of a traditional backpacking style tent. It's, you know, I'm going to say traditional as in roughly about 4 pounds. You know, I know a lot of people are into the tarps, and obviously with the Lunar Solo, that thing weighs nothing in comparison to this bigger tent. But I think it's really important that even though we do the fat guy in the little tent, the tarp tent, I think it's also important to see the benefits of a dome tent and a freestanding tent, and even though it's a couple pounds more, there really are some benefits. And I mean, in comparison to the two, when you look at the other tent that I want to, that I'm hopefully going to be able to review, it's a sprawling palace in comparison to the Lunar Solo. Now, don't get me wrong, the Lunar Solo is great, and it definitely has room for one person, but with 4 pounds, you could have a complete and utter mansion in comparison to the Lunar Solo. And hopefully that we'll be able to do that too, and I'll be able to have a set of videos going with that. But that is pretty much it for about 2016. I mean, you know, hey, like I say, if the health continues, if, you know, Lord willing, hopefully I'll be able to do some cool stuff, be able to do a bunch of new adventures, redo some old peaks that I love going to, and definitely looking forward to 2016, and glad you guys are here with me. Thank you for all the subscriptions, thank you for all the views, thank you to everyone who comments. I love hearing the comments. Just, yeah, this has been one interesting you know, year in 2015. You know, I kind of started the channel mid-year and went from there, but you know, hopefully 2016 we're going to get a full year of footage, so hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone, happy new year to everyone, blessings to all of you, and we'll see each other on the trail soon.